Hey everybody, I'm Zach,
And I'm Jesse.
and you're watching Tesla Time News
Episode 98.
on Now You Know.
Okay, what the heck?
Look at this, Jesse.
What is this?
We're going to start doing a giveaway at the end of the show. Every week we're going to pull a name of one of our Patreons out of here and give them something.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
So this is all full of our Patreons?
Yeah, if every buck they give every month, they get an extra entry. So like if you give $15 a month, you get 15 entries in there.
Okay. All right.
It took us all week. All the guys were filling this up, 4,000 pieces of paper in there.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So how do people enter this?
They just become a Patreon. They're automatically entered.
So for every $1 you donate every month, you get a slip of paper.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So end of the show, we're going to pull out a winner.
All right.
Support for this episode of Tesla Time News comes from Wonder Capital, the easiest way to invest in large-scale solar energy projects across the U.S.
With Wonder, you can earn up to 7.5% annually while helping to finance renewable energy projects.
Get started at wondercapital.com/NYK. Wonder Capital, where impact investing meets capitalism.
All right, so let's get to some news here.
Yeah. Have you heard of this, Jesse? The Model 3 has a new Hypermile world record.
Hypermile, is it at hyper speed?
No, this is the going as far as you can on a single charge.
Okay, so how far did they go?
Well, so we interviewed Stefan Moeller from Next Move in Germany. They just got 2 Model 3s shipped to them, and they were able to hypermile it for 1,001 kilometers. That's 622 miles on a single charge.
Wow.
This is a Model 3 with a long-range battery.
That's double the range of the car.
They drove it for approximately 38 kilometers an hour for 28 hours straight.
Oh my gosh.
And not only did they do that,
Yeah.
check this out. Guess who's driving?
Is that Starman?
Yes, well, it's his brother, Spacey.
Okay.
So Spacey's driving the car for most of the trip.
Is
and then,
Spacey a real
Spacey got
person?
tired and had to sleep in the back on a dream case.
Wait,
So
okay.
then the car drove itself.
So wait, what?
Well, you want to know more? We actually did a cool interview with Stefan, and the link is right there.
Somewhere.
It's somewhere. Click on that, and you'll see the full interview and how they did it.
All right, cool. So the first known Model 3 rollover crash has just happened.
Look at that.
Yes.
So the husband of the driver who was driving the car that had the accident wrote this. She was traveling on the freeway at approximately 70 miles an hour in the left lane. The car collided with a second vehicle in the middle lane. The front driver's side of the Model 3 then hit the cement median with enough force to shear the front wheel off. Then the slide sideways and started rolling. A witness said the car rolled several times before finally settling upside down. The other car also hit the median, though much less violently, and we believe the driver was uninjured. Several good people immediately stopped and helped her. Surprisingly, the driver's side window rolled down, actually up, and the door was able to open with the normal button as opposed to the emergency release. She initially thought she was fine, but was convinced to head to the hospital in an ambulance as a precaution. Turns out that was a good idea because there was a compression fracture in one of her vertebrae. They released her after a few hours and she is recovering well. There were also several bruises, a small friction burn from the airbags, and general soreness the day after. As for the car, he said he believed it performed exceptionally well and added, "I thought the car performed spectacularly from a safety standpoint. The driver's seat airbags protected her during the roll, including one underneath the steering wheel for her legs, which I didn't even know was there." As you can see from the photos, the cabin was completely intact. The windshield and glass roof obviously shattered, but they did not intrude the cabin at all.
Wow. So this is amazing.
It rolled over multiple times
On a highway going 70 miles an hour.
with enough force to shear the wheel off.
Right. I would say this is a real world test.
As real as you can get.
In a pretty bad scenario,
Yeah.
the driver was fine.
Walked away.
Right. That's insane. Mm-hmm. I mean, the glass didn't intrude into the cockpit.
Nope.
That's amazing.
And it's a glass roof.
right. It's not like there's no glass on this car. And not only that, the window was able to roll down
And the door worked.
and the door worked.
That means the frame wasn't even bent enough to affect the door.
Right. That's the amazing part about that battery pack. It is such a rigid member in that car. It probably saved her life.
And can you imagine how much force it took to get that car to flip multiple times?
Right. It's a very bottom heavy car.
So, I mean, it must have hit the other car or the median or something in such a way that it really forced it into a flip. That's amazing that that person walked away.
I know.
So with some more Model 3 news here, we've got the Performance Model 3 with some new specs that Elon says it can get.
Elon tweeted this: "We gave up some grip and width in exchange for range. I would recommend stickier tires and wider on the rear for best performance. You might get 3.3 seconds 0 to 60 or better with optimized rims and tires." So that is...
Wait, so he's saying that if you put wider tires on the back that you can go faster. Why is that?
You have more grip. And so on the performance model, you should be able to hit 3.3 0 to 60.
Wow.
That is...
That's Sparky territory.
Right. That's P100D.
We have to remember that Musk did say 2 years ago that the Model 3 Performance will also have ludicrous mode. Do you think that'll happen?
I don't think that it'll happen for a while. I think that this car, even though its 0 to 60 time might be slightly slower than a P100D, is going to be like the favorite car of the next 5 years. I think that people are going to fall in love with this car because the handling is so amazing.
I have a prediction here that Elon's going to reveal in a few months or a year or something that ludicrous mode is already baked into the car and that there's just a secret, hidden button.
Like an Easter egg?
Yeah.
It is possible, knowing Elon.
All right, this story came to us from our buddy Ruben, who is part of our newsroom. We'll tell you more about that later. But this is a story about Germany and the colluding cartel.
There's a cartel in Germany? Like,
anytime companies get together and coordinate their movements, that is a cartel. So, for instance, OPEC, which is an oil cartel of countries producing oil, they get together and have meetings and say, what price should we make? What production should we have?
Yeah.
Well, it's against the law in Germany and in Europe to coordinate certain things, which Volkswagen, Daimler, BMW, Audi, and Porsche have done. The German Federal Transport Minister, Andreas Scheuer, has said that as early as June 2009, this cartel of companies colluded. They got together and said this in documents that were found from their companies. Quote, "The use of a particulate filter should definitely be avoided in gasoline engines. The drive managers support a common approach. The goal of avoiding cost-intensive measures such as particle filters is confirmed by the development chief." And they also decided, this cartel, to commission political lobbying in Brussels in order to delay as long as possible stricter limits for particulate emissions in petrol engines. So we're talking about gas engines here, not diesel engines.
Wow. You're saying that these 5 companies were all in talks with each other, all colluding to try and basically push something through, like lobbying-wise, and...
Right. They're all working together to get it so that the EU would slow down, Germany would slow down their emission standards. And they're also colluding to make sure that they don't have to put particle filters on their engines. So we're talking again about PM 2.5. These are tiny little particles that come out of gas engines.
And they're horrible for you.
They're horrible. They lodge into your lungs and get into your bloodstream, and they're horrible for everybody's health. This is showing that they colluded to make sure that they could keep their engines dirty and keep making profits. And so we've been reporting to you that the Audi chief has already been arrested, and now 30 people are currently under investigation. And so there's definitely going to be more news to come on this.
Wow.
This has stunned people in Germany. And if that weren't enough, you remember that we've been talking about Porsche having to recall some of their diesel models because they weren't meeting EU emission standards. So you remember that the Cayenne and Macan diesel SUVs we already reported have been affected by recalls both in the 3 and 4 liter versions.
Right.
Now the Panamera diesel has been recalled.
All diesel versions of it.
That's right.
Right.
And so the Federal Transport Minister, Andreas Scheuer, is now saying there will not be a single legal Porsche diesel model.
I mean, that's insane.
It is insane. Germany is stunned.
All right, moving over to a car company that has no trouble with emissions testing.
Really?
Yeah. Tesla has just changed some of the pricing on the Model S and Model X. So there used to be you could get a Model S, and then you could get the premium package, which was an extra $5,000.
Right.
They've now gotten rid of the premium package. They've taken all of the stuff that was in the premium package and put it into the standard version of the car.
Oh, interesting.
And they've raised the price of the car by
$5,000.
Nope, $2,500.
Wait, you get all that stuff for half the price?
Half the price. Now, you can't do without it. You have to pay this extra $2,500, but you are getting features that would have cost you an extra $2,500. So it's kind of a win-ish, lose-ish.
So the prices you were just quoting there, that was for the Model S.
Right.
For the Model X, it's $3,500 more, although those were normally $6,000 more if you bought them before.
Right.
So so now the starting price for Model S is $77,000 for a Model S 75D, and the starting price for a Model X 75D is $83,000.
Right. You're getting the bioweapon defense HEPA filter,
Yep.
Which blocks basically everything out of the air except for breathable air. The Sub-Zero package, which includes heated steering wheel, heated seats, heated windshield,
rear view
mirrors, and the premium audio, which is fantastic. You get some amazing
11 speakers and 8-inch sound subwoofer.
Right.
I think that's to differentiate it from the Model 3. I think they've decided to put the premium stuff in by default because they want these cars to be premium luxury cars.
And it also allows them to streamline their production.
Right.
No longer do you have to be like, is this a premium? Is this not a premium? You can just simplify that.
Right. This is called BlackFly, and it's by a company called Opener. What is this?
This is an electric flying car.
Really? How come I've never heard of it before?
It has been in stealth mode for 9 years.
Wow.
So they've
they
been
did a good job
developing
of keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
What can it do?
So it can fly up to 25 miles on a single charge at a speed of 62 miles an hour. That's the USA regulation to keep it an ultralight as opposed to a different aircraft, which means that there is no formal licensing required to fly it or any special skills to operate it safely. Basically, there is some instruction that Opener will provide. They also require that you have passed the written test for the private pilot's license. The U.S. government does not require that, but Opener does. And basically, it'll have a return to home button and a geofence capability.
Wait, geofence means it won't go outside a certain area if you want it to keep it inside?
Right. Apparently, maybe it keeps it out of certain airspaces. Who knows? It'll be priced similar to an SUV. I don't know.
Oh, I thought it would be like $1 million.
SUV exactly, but I just want you to look at this. The energy consumption.
Wait a minute. That
245 watt hours per mile, which seems
about the same as a Model 3.
it's slightly less. I mean, it depends on how you drive it. That's really strange because it seems like a Model 3 just has to sort of push the air out of the way and
Yeah, it's on the ground.
go a mile.
This you have
It
to
can
lift
just
off the
roll.
ground.
Yeah, this has to keep itself up in the air. So
That's pretty cool. And then
crazy.
It looks like it's very quiet.
72 decibels at 150 feet.
That's just a loud talking voice.
Right. Which is, I mean, it's like a big drone.
That's
basically.
quieter. It says here that it's quieter than, a highway at that same distance.
Right.
That's really exciting.
Really interesting, yeah.
It's amazing to see the offshoot of the technology of the lithium-ion battery that's gone from automobiles now to aviation.
Right.
So this is an interesting study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and the University of Oregon. Thousands of miles of buried fiber optic cable in densely populated coastal regions of the United States may soon be inundated by rising seas. What's interesting to me about this is that we're talking about, internet cable, boring stuff like that, which can't really get wet, right? The internet doesn't like water. And so what this study is showing is that pretty soon, rising seas are going to make it so that we're going to have to move that cable up to dry land to make it work.
And we have to do that before it's underwater because you can't dig up cable that's underwater.
Yeah, so I guess I'm a little confused because I thought we buried cable anyway and lots of stuff underground gets wet, so what's the big deal?
Well, if you need to repair it, which is likely if leaks spring and then all that water runs all the way to the switch or whatever, if you need to repair that, when it's above ground, all you need is a guy with a shovel and who knows how to splice the wires together. But when it's underwater, you now, instead of a guy with a shovel, you need a diver who knows how to dig underwater and knows how to splice the cables and knows
keep it dry.
and keep everything dry. It's like that is way more expensive.
Does
than
this
it's worth.
report get to your brain a little bit and makes you realize if we have to keep the internet dry,
Right.
then we have to keep everything dry.
Right.
You
And
can't let
these-
trains get wet.
Right. And these are going to happen in major cities. So we're talking about subways. We're talking about, sewage systems, electrical conduit, all of this stuff
And
has
people.
to go. And well, of course, and people, but people can walk.
But you know what? We'll just do what Venice did. We'll just move everything up to the second floor.
Well,
Canals.
Venice didn't have to do that.
I mean, here I am just going down my gondola in the New
Times
York
Square.
Canal Street.
Right. But you see, the thing is, electricity and sewage and internet. It all came to Venice after this happened.
Oh, that's true. That was a 14th century
They
city.
didn't have any buried conduit that they said, "Oh no, Fabrizio, we have to dig up the cable." Like, no one needed to do that. There weren't like aqueducts full of fiber optic cable. That was their solution or anything like that. This could all come in later. But now with this, we have to dig everything up, put it up on wires, and then what? We're going to just have to keep moving it up as the sea levels rise.
Sounds good. That's how the Italians do it.
It's not going to be pretty in so many cities. Like, it's not just New York. It's San Francisco. It's
Miami.
Oh, Miami's first to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
London.
Yeah, you name it.
You name it.
So many cities are on the coast.
Every city is right on the coast.
I know. So what's this? Lexus sticks to Stone Age prophecies?
So I went a little out there with the title, but just read this quote by Yoshihiro Sawa.
And this is an executive at Lexus?
This is an executive at Lexus. Just read this quote.
Okay. Our philosophy is to provide freedom of movement, so we have to develop technology on all fronts. We understand that electric is very necessary, more than some perhaps with our early move to hybrid, but we can also see that full EV will not suit everyone. You can't make an electric Land Cruiser work, for instance, and there are many people in remote parts of the world whose lives depend on that car. Pure EVs currently require a long charging time and batteries that have an environmental impact at manufacture, and which degrade as they get older. And then, when cells need replacing, we have to consider plans for future use and recycling. It is a complex issue, much more complex than the current rhetoric perhaps suggests. I prefer to approach the future in a more honest way.
So the honest way that he's approaching the future is to basically throw up your hands and say,
Bury your
we
head in the
can't
sand."
do it. So I want to talk about, first of all, his first point, that you need to make a Land Cruiser, that people depend on Land Cruisers.
Yes, Jesse, people depend on those to get to places in the world that are hard to get to.
Has he not heard of Arkady Fiedler, who just drove across Africa in a Nissan Leaf?
That's right.
He drove across Africa in a Nissan Leaf. That thing has a range of less than 100 miles.
And it went from South Africa to Poland.
And you're telling me that you can't make an electric Land Rover that wouldn't have, 300 miles of range.
Yeah, it's called a Model X.
Some kind of a solar canopy that you could unload.
That's a cool
for
idea.
Out in the outback. Speaking of the outback, there are chargers in the outback.
That's right. Encompassing the entire continent of Australia is a charging network, and in fact, you can cut through the continent of Australia and charge your car the whole way.
Right now. Those are not plans. Those are things that have already been built right now.
Right.
It's going to keep expanding. It's going to grow into those regions. It's not hard to make electric charging infrastructure.
It sounds like what he's saying is there's a lot of complex issues with EVs. It's a new technology, and we don't want to deal with it. We want to keep making what we're good at making.
Let's talk about this second point, that pure EVs currently require a long charging time. That is
false.
Not true.
Right.
If you invest heavily in a charging infrastructure for your cars, and maybe you don't even need to invest that much, just help Tesla with their supercharger network. They've already said any company that's willing to help, maintain this network will be allowed to use it.
That's right.
Do that.
Solution solved.
That's your solution.
Right.
Bingo. Right there.
Right.
Fast charging. It's not a big deal.
But what this reminds me of is Kodak. Kodak invented the digital camera and then disappeared as a company. Why? Because even though they invented it, they didn't know they didn't understand it. They didn't understand that the world was going to quickly adopt it.
Here's this third point here. We have to consider plans for future use and recycling. Yeah. You're going to have to do that. Now, you can either do that by waiting for everyone else to do that for you, and then what? You're going to now step up to the plate?
Right.
No, you're going to be gone.
Right.
Because no one's going to be buying your cars for years.
Exactly.
You can't wait for a technology to mature that is
adapt.
your business.
Right.
I mean, that would be, we're waiting for this technology so we can make spaceships. Oh, all right. Well, if you're waiting for hyperspace technology, okay. Sounds like you're going to be waiting for a while.
What you're saying is EVs are here.
EVs are here, and they're competing directly with Lexus. So I don't know how Lexus can't see that and be like, oh, the Model S is like the best-selling luxury car.
They don't see it.
How can you not? How can you be so blind to this?
But it's happened throughout history.
You have to be the one to mature the technology. You cannot be the one who adopts it later.
All right, it's time for the lightning round. Now, Europe is hungry for something.
It is hungry for EVs. So the Nissan Leaf has just become the best-selling EV in Europe as the next generation Leaf got 37,000 orders and 18,000 deliveries.
Wow.
This is since October of 2017. And basically, I think that the takeaway here is that Europe cannot wait to get their hands on the Model 3. The Leaf is a lower-priced EV. And I think that people who can't afford a Model S or a Model X, which is the only Teslas that are being sold in Europe right now, they really want an EV. And so they'll buy Leafs.
Right.
Because there's not too many other options, especially, I mean, the newer Leaf has a slightly bigger range than the previous versions, and they're selling them in Europe, so now people are buying them.
And I don't want to beat a dead horse here,
Right.
but I mean, if they're such in demand for the Leaf, imagine the Model 3, which has a supercharger network.
Right.
It's already built out in Europe.
It has the range, it has faster acceleration times.
You can travel all throughout Europe,
Right.
easy peasy, on the supercharger network.
Right.
So imagine how it's going to sell. Now, you remember this. This is a concept for the VW Microbus. Well, the word just came out from VW that they are going to be building the VW Microbus.
Okay.
That's their big news.
Thought that they were
2020.
already going to do that.
2020.
So I mean, this is a concept that we've seen in 2016. All right, so that was 2 years ago already.
Yep, but we saw it even earlier than that. The earlier concepts, remember these? The Bud E and the EcoMotion. Oh, and don't forget the Bully and the ET.
Which was, announced or unveiled or whatever in 2011.
Right, so they've been working on this. They've had
It's the
concept.
same concept. It's a big minibus-sized van, basically. That's all EV, that's going to have a big range. They've been saying that they're going to make it since 2011.
And here's the thing. If they would just do it and come out with it, they would take over that market share because Tesla doesn't have anything like this. Right. No one has a microbus, and everyone loves the microbus. They remember it fondly from the 60s and the 70s, and this is the perfect form factor for many, many people.
Right.
So just do it, VW. Stop dragging your feet.
I can't believe it's taken this long.
So the EPA has come out with their official efficiency ratings for the Model 3 dual motor and performance versions. Both the performance and non-performance dual motor versions receive the same rating of 120 miles per gallon equivalent for city driving and 112 miles per gallon equivalent for highway driving. So that gives you 116.
116. Interesting. It's lower than the single motor.
That's right. It's lower than the rear-wheel drive, which is 129 miles per gallon equivalent.
Right. It's not much of a difference, but it is strange that it is different. Now, the key point here is that Tesla still says that it has a range of 310 miles, which tells you something about the single motor Model 3, long-range Model 3s.
Right. We knew this before, that basically the EPA said that it had a 345-mile range, and Tesla said, let's just call it 310.
Right.
And I think the reason was that for all their models, they'd be able to claim the same range.
Right.
So you've heard of HAGERTY. This is the insurance company and valuation company that has been in the automobile industry for a long, long time.
Yeah.
They have a list where they've come out with their best cars of each decade.
Right.
And look who just made it to their list.
The Model S.
The Model S.
So it's the car of the decade, according to them.
Now, they said the decade's not over yet, which gives me hope that maybe the Model 3 could make that list. But,
It's true.
But who knows? They basically are really bullish on the Model S and just say that it was an amazing, groundbreaking car.
Right. And this is the same list that has the Model T on it. It has...
And the Corvette.
Right. So, I mean, that's really cool.
And here's some pictures of the Tesla Model 3 performance version with the spoiler and the new badge. Because don't forget, when you get the performance version, they badge it this time. Normally, you've got a Model 3 and no one knows what you're driving.
It is funny that they haven't put the Model 3. Now, the license plate holder does say Model 3 on it. So I think that's kind of how they've badged it. But yeah, the performance does get a dual motor with an underline for the performance. And, the dual motor in general gets just a dual motor.
And you get that spoiler.
You got a cool spoiler.
So, Jesse, have you heard of this company called Zoox?
Is that the company that delivers sneakers?
Oh, that's the one with the KS. This is with the X. Zoox with an S.
Oh, okay.
X.
Yeah.
So this is a company you may not have heard of because it's been in kind of stealth mode for the past few years. It was founded in July of 2014 by Tim KENTLEY-KLAY and Jesse Levinson. And today they've grown to over 500 people.
Wow.
And it's worth about $1 billion.
Okay, so what do they do?
Well, you know what? Let's talk about it more in the Patreon bonus story.
All right.
I got to show you some footage that we can't show you here.
Okay.
So we'll show you that then.
All right.
It's time for our video contributor story, and I want to do a plug this week for our new Tesla Time newsroom. What that is all you wonderful people out there who send us stories, we'd like to invite some of you to join us in the newsroom, which is a new Slack team that we have. If you've heard of Slack, it's a way to communicate, and it's pretty cool. So if you're interested, you're the kind of person who's like, I want to help you guys with news stories, send us an email to zach@nowyouknowchannel.com or message us on Facebook and let us know that you want to be part of the team. Let us know a little bit about yourself, your background, why you think you'd be a good member, and we might invite you to join the Tesla newsroom. So we got 2 video contributor stories this week. Our first is from Alex, who's reviewing the Tesla Roadster Charger in Washington.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. I'm Alex from Bellingham, Washington. I'm currently a town over in Ferndale, Washington, with something a little different. This isn't a Tesla Supercharger. It's not a Tesla destination charger. It's something a little different, a little older. This review is about neither of those. This is an original Tesla Roadster charger review. Bit of a behemoth here. And then it has that outlet for other vehicle charging. Personally, I wouldn't rank this one too highly because it's out in front of the Ferndale Event Center in Ferndale, Washington. And there's not really much to it. Over there is a little pull-through coffee shop. Over there is a Super 8. And across the street, way over there, is a Pilot and a McDonald's. So that might get it a 4 or a 5. But what's special about this place is this. This is the only the only Tesla charger that I've seen with an actual cover here in Washington, which in the state of Washington, well, you do kind of require this because it rains quite a bit. So all in all, I would, by normal standards, give this maybe a 6 out of 10 for a Tesla Supercharger. But this is not a Supercharger. This is something that's for something a lot older, something a lot rarer. So I give it an honorary 10 out of 10. And yes, I do apologize. I did have to ice this charger for lighting, but I don't think there's very many Roadsters around for that anymore. Sorry, but they're in space now.
I don't think we've ever gotten a Supercharger review of a Roadster charger.
No, I don't.
Because for those of you out there, the original Roadsters can't charge at Superchargers. They have their own dedicated chargers.
Right.
It's kind of an odd situation.
Or they couldn't. I think you could get it.
There's an expensive converter,
yeah.
but it's not easy.
Right.
Hey, let's do a second story.
Okay.
So this one is from our buddy Marcus in Sweden.
Hi Zach and Jesse, my name is Marcus and I'm a big fan of the show and of course also a Tesla enthusiast. I'm here in the beautiful Stockholm archipelago in Sweden. Imagine my excitement when I, a while back, found out that there was new beer coming to the market. On the 1st of June, the Swedish brewery Brewski, together with the brewery Friends Company, started selling their new beer Starman DDH Double IPA. The beer and the label is clearly inspired by how Elon launched his Roadster into space, which didn't happen long before this beer was brewed. Brewski always uses American hops, mostly in different combinations based on the best and freshest hops they can get their hands on. And fittingly enough, in this beer, they only used a hop called Galaxy. When I finally got my hands on a few bottles, I realized that the label was changed. So I contacted the brewery and I found out that they had to change the label in Sweden because apparently it's not allowed to have a vehicle on the label of an alcoholic beverage, hence the sofa instead of the Roadster. But thankfully, they were kind enough to send me a few of the original labels. Brewski's owner, Marcus Hjalmarsson, drives a Tesla, but the man on the label is Robin Skoglund, who works at Brewski, but is also part owner in the brewery Friends Company. As I've understood it, they released somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 bottles, and there were, when I last checked, around 200-300 bottles left in all of Sweden. And according to the brewery, they won't be making any more of these when these run out. So I know that I'm saving at least one until I get my Model 3, so I can celebrate in the best way I can possibly imagine. But of course not while driving. That's it for this time. Thank you so much for a great show, guys, and I hope I'll see you around.
So didn't we get a package from Marcus this week?
We did.
Let's see. Let's open it up.
What's in the box? I love getting packages,
I know.
by the way.
Hey,
Hey, it's Starman Beer.
Starman.
Check that out.
That is so cool.
I think it breaks FCC regulations for us to drink this on air, right? So we'll have to...
Well, it's empty. You can't send beer in the mail,
okay.
apparently.
That's really cool. I think these deserve to go on our shelves of honor.
Definitely. If you've noticed, Zach has been working very hard building the shelves behind us.
Where should these go? Maybe right here?
That sounds good. Oh, put one. How about next to the boring mug?
Oh, yes.
Nice.
That's so cool. Thank you, Marcus. Really appreciate that. All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. Don't forget, we're going to be talking about Zook. So if you'd like to find out more about this company, and I think you do, head over to Patreon, pay us as little as $1 a month, and you can see all the stories.
Yep.
I'll see you there.
It's a Patreon bonus stories.
Hey, everybody. We're back from the Patreon bonus story, and we want to do our Patreon shout-outs now. What do we got, Jesse?
All right, we have Brian Thompson,
Benjamin Ehrenfeld,
Melody Lane,
Lars,
Matthew Tittus,
Jacques Gouffo,
Hugo Dom,
and Tulbjorn Johansson. These are people who give us $5 or more a month on Patreon, and we couldn't do it without them.
No.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweet of the week.
So Elon tweeted out a new report from Oxford University that found that the manipulation of public opinion over social media platforms is growing at a large scale.
Yeah, the number of countries that are using social media to distort what's going on has grown from 28 to 48.
Right.
I mean, this is just insane.
Right. And so I think when, the media loves to attack Elon, and, I wish he had chosen a different word other than Pravda for his Pravda idea.
I like it.
I just, just call
Rather
it truthy.
Orwellian.
Yeah.
1984.
Right. Something that would be a little bit more on, not so off color, whatever. But anyway, I think that that's why he is bringing it to the forefront and being like, this is ridiculous that we're getting false information in what should be only truth in the news. It's the news. You're a journalist. You're supposed to be pursuing the truth.
Well, and here's the insidious part. They know that with social media, you can target the people you want with the story you want. So
Right.
they know that they can take a story and tailor it for you and send it right to you. And they just give you the just bite-sized little, here, we know that you're American probably, and you can only take like 2 seconds of reading. So here's 4 words.
Right.
That's your story.
Right.
Pretty sad.
Yep.
It's time for community mail time.
Community mail time.
All right, what's this?
This is Marianne in Raleigh, North Carolina. Take it away.
Marianne Miller and Johnny reporting here from Raleigh, North Carolina, where we've stumbled upon 37 Model 3s at a public storage facility. That's right, 37. Of the 37, 7 of the cars have the upgraded wheels, and the other 30 have the Aero wheels. We do not see any dual motor badging here, so these are all rear-wheel drive cars, which is to be expected. But what a sight to see. Check out all the Model 3s.
$37 Model 3s in Raleigh, North Carolina.
It shows that
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
That's so cool. Thank you,
Yeah.
Marianne. Now, you remember this, Jesse? The Fully Charged live show had this Mercedes that said, I'm not Zach, I'm not Jesse.
Yeah, it was a mystery.
And we said, somebody out there must know.
Right.
Well, guess what? Mark knows because it's his car.
Right.
Take it away, Mark.
Hi, I'm not Zach, and I'm not Jesse. My name's Mark. I was at the Fully Charged show in the UK. These were the posters I had in my car at the Fully Charged show that you commented on. I put those in the window just because I thought it'd be a great in-joke for those existing EV enthusiasts who would recognise it, and surprisingly very few people did. But it made me appreciate the work you go to, because you've got your own font there. We couldn't find a font to match, and also the fact that it's taken me 3 weeks to reply to your prompt just shows how productive you guys are, that you've got family and friends and still putting out multiple videos per week. So really impressed. You asked about the B-Class. It is a standard model, it's not a custom. Mercedes didn't make very many. I think it was a bit of a taster for them. They've deleted it already, so it was 2015, 2016, 2017, available in California and across Europe. Not very many, as I say. It's a really well-made VV, really well made, which is why it attracted me to it while I was waiting for my Model 3. Well, or I'm still waiting for the Model 3, but obviously at least I can drive electric in the meantime. I should add, Robert Llewellyn did a really good review of the B-Class on his Fully Charged show, so check that out if you want more details. So yeah, keep up the good work. Now you know.
There's your answer.
Cool.
The only not so cool part of the story was that not many people knew who Zach and Jesse were in the UK.
Well, you know, we're growing.
We're growing.
So just make sure that you hit the like button on this video, because for whatever reason that will help. That's what they came up with for the algorithm.
And get this, Jesse. Mike got his new Model 3 in Austin, Texas.
All right, let's see it.
Hey guys, this is Mike in Texas. Recently, on June 21st, I had an appointment at the service center to pick up my brand new Model 3. So that morning, I took the train to Dallas and then walked over to the service center by Love Field, filled out some paperwork, had a brief instruction, and was able to get in my brand new Model 3. So I really wanted to share this with you guys and say I really love your channel. Keep up the good work and happy driving.
I love it.
Awesome.
It's so exciting to see all these people get their Model 3s.
I know.
They're popping up everywhere. All right, it's time for our Patreon viewer comments. Now, you remember last week, Jesse, we talked about the Alieno Arcanum RP5, which is a 5,000 horsepower car.
Right.
And we asked this poll. We said, will it actually be built and will it meet its specs?
Yes. So 6 people said, yes, indeedy. Can't wait to smoke Zach and Jesse in their Tesla Roadster.
33 people said, built, yes. Fast, yes. 5,000 horsepower, no way.
89 people said they'll build one prototype. That's it.
And 58 people said, nope, nope, nope. This will never happen. So I don't know. It looks
Not the most optimistic Patreons.
Well, it looks like maybe they'll build a prototype. I don't know.
Maybe.
Let's find out.
Maybe.
And then we also asked our viewers about battery breakthroughs. We get these reports every week about new breakthroughs, which are so exciting, but we don't want to overload you. So we were asking our patrons, what should we do? How should we report on this? And Ruben said, I would only report on stuff which has a date when it will be commercially launched.
Makes sense.
And Gordon said, if you have a clip of the product being tested, then it seems more realistic. Don't cover anything that's just words. We want proof from a lab or something.
Yep. I think that that's totally fair.
All right, it's time for our Supercharger reviews. Now, you remember how this works, Jesse. If you want to review a Supercharger or a destination charger, just go visit it, shoot it landscape mode, and pop it onto our website so everyone can view it. And if you want to go somewhere and check out like a Supercharger, go on our website. And if you see a little green mark next to the Supercharger or destination charger, means it's got a video.
Right, and keep in mind, our website is nowyouknowchannel.com.
And so, take it away.
Now you know, this is Scott and Mary reporting from the Oshkosh, Wisconsin Supercharger, relatively new, 6 stalls, and right over here is a Festival Foods, which is open 24 hours, so good for food and good for bathroom if you need one. Across the way here is a really nice little pond area with a fountain in it and a walking path around it, so while the car is charging you get a little exercise. And then plenty of food in the area. Not real close, but Subway over there and a Rocky Rococo Pizza and a Wendy's and just what I can see from here. There's a Culver's down a little ways. So lots of food in the area. Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Now you know.
Hey Zach and Jesse, this is Gary. We're on our first road trip in our Tesla Model 3. And we're here at the Mammoth Lake Supercharger in California. This is an 8-stall charger, very close access to Highway 395. It's right at the edge of town. And there's plenty of restaurants and shops within walking distance of the Supercharger.
Hey Zach and Jesse, it's Rocco. We're going through the Lexington Supercharger, Kentucky. And we stopped at Steak and Shake over here. Plugged in, there was a white Model S earlier right over here. And we're just sitting eating out under this nice shaded tree. There's a Myers, honestly, right here. There's the McDonald's and Wendy's across the street, a Chick-fil-A across the street. There's a Best Buy, Bed Bath & Beyond, a whole shopping center in here, a whole bunch of stuff. And then a good place for your dog as well. But I would rate this one probably a 9 out of 10. Thanks, guys.
Hello, Second Jesse. This is Jon Arne calling from Norway. This is the 8-stall supercharger in Eidfjord. It will be my last supercharger review for this small trip through from east to west in Norway. Among these mighty fjords, you see it's not made for trailer camping, but it's a vital supercharger for going east to west or west to east in Norway. There's not many amenities here. There are only 8 stalls with 120 kilowatts, but by far the most important one that we have going east to west. I will give it a 6 out of 10.
Every week there's new ones.
Every week. It's exciting.
It really is.
And every week there's new superchargers,
I know.
which is good because that's a sustainable system.
Tesla has not let us down.
Yes. All right. So there's a 10 stall in Troyes, Saint-Parez au Tetres, France.
That was pretty good, Jesse. You sounded very French there.
I sounded it, but I know I didn't do a good job.
I'll take this next tough one. A 10 stall in North Brunswick, New Jersey.
Oh, that was not hard. Number 421 in Europe, the 16 stall in Grums, Sweden.
And number 551 in the USA, number 1327 in the world is the 2-stall, which is an urban, in Alpharetta, Georgia.
A 2-stall urban. I've never...
That's like the first I've heard of that.
Crazy.
Now, you guys remember that Be Free is benefits for rewarding Elon employees, and we've got another company that's joined the list. In fact, we've got many companies, but this one just caught our eye. This is ABS Computer Services. They're a full system cleanup for Windows, PC, or laptop. Just bring it into the shop. We'll eliminate viruses, spyware, junk files and programs, and other system slowdowns. This is a $189 value, and we're offering it to valid Tesla employees free. No strings attached.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, this is awesome. And I just want to remind everyone, Be Free is this crazy idea from Dr. Masood, who is a chiropractor, realized that he could offer free chiropractic for Tesla employees. And that's a great way for him to support Tesla in a way that he can't otherwise do so. This means that if you own a business or you know someone who owns a business, you want to get free advertising on this show, simply go onto our website. It's nowyouknowchannel.com. Go to the Be Free section. We have lots of different, and this is also for Tesla employees or Boring Company employees or SpaceX employees. If you work for Elon, you get all of these benefits.
Because, who better? Like, think about these engineers from SpaceX who work so hard to help get those kids out in Thailand. They deserve something for that.
Right.
So, here you go. And I wanted to plug a past video that we did. Just recently, we came up with the 5 worst things about the Model 3. And
starring
my buddy
Vinny Bamboozolini.
You can trust Vinny because he knows what he's talking about.
He does know what he's talking about.
So, yeah, just go check out that video. I think you're going to laugh a little bit. What if you could help combat global climate change and make money at the same time?
Introducing Wonder Capital, the award-winning investment platform that allows individuals to invest in large-scale solar energy projects across the U.S.
Since 2015, individuals like you have invested tens of millions of dollars using Wonder Capital's solar investment platform, helping to successfully fund over 200 large-scale solar energy projects across the U.S.
These solar energy projects create enough electricity to offset more than 75 million pounds of carbon dioxide emissions each year.
If you're interested in combating global climate change while earning up to 7.5% annually, go to wondercapital.com/NYK. Wonder Capital, where impact investing meets capitalism. And it's time. Let me get our.
Oh yeah, our thingy thing. Here we go.
Because it's 2018, and what better than a giant bingo thing to pick out our winner?
All right, here we go. So this is for the Patreon giveaway.
It's the Patreon giveaway.
Our Patreon giveaway this week is for these T-shirts. I'll show off mine first. This says Save the Oceans. This comes from Boston Ocean Apparel. This is Brent and Bobby's company with Nick. And they love turtles and cleaning up the oceans. They give 10% of their profits from the T-shirt sales to ocean cleanup so that we can clean up the oceans, get the plastics out of there, and save marine life.
All right.
So this is one of the designs you could get if you win today. Or check out Jesse's T-shirt.
So I'll just stand up. Yeah, you get the
very cool embroidered
logo right there.
Little turtle
with the T.
All right, so if you're the winner this week, you'll get to pick out one of these cool shirts. So let's give it a spin first.
Give it a spin.
Yeah, I got 4,000 names in there.
Wow.
And don't forget, if you're a Patreon patron, every buck that you give a month gets you another card in here, another chance to win.
All
So
right,
okay,
so
pull one out, Jesse. Make it a good one.
I'm digging here.
Take your time.
I've got it. Here we go.
Who is our winner this week, Jesse?
All right, so our winner this week is John HILEMAN.
John HILEMAN, you're the winner. We will contact you and get you your t-shirt.
All right, cool. I just want to remind everyone that you can help support the show in so many ways. You can head over to patreon.com, but also, let's say you're just, buying something on Amazon, you can give us 7% of that purchase. Instead of it going to Jeff Bezos, it can go to us.
He's already the richest man in the world.
He's already the richest man in the world.
He doesn't need it.
Maybe throw a little bit our way. You can use our Amazon affiliate link down below. We have a new one for people who don't live in the U.S., so there's the one for the US and there's one for the rest of the world. You can click on that and part of your purchase will go to help support the show, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's easy to use.
Also, don't forget that if you are thinking of buying a Model S or Model X, you can use our referral code and we will drive to your house
really fast
in a Roadster and give you a test ride in it.
Really fast.
Right.
Did I say really fast?
It's really fast. 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. It could be faster. We're thinking we're probably going to get the SpaceX package. So this is kind of an offer that you're not going to get it anywhere else.
No.
Please use our referral code if you're thinking of it.
Thank you so much for supporting us and watching, everybody. We really love doing the show for you guys, and we love that you guys help us out. So thank you so much for being our viewers. We love you guys. See you next week.
Now you know.